How you doing, everyone on YouTube? I go by the YouTube name NCO Whiz. A little bit about myself. I retired disabled veteran. Spent 22 years total service. First 3 years active duty. Um, Last 12 years was National Guard. And I decided to make a YouTube channel about myself just to be a motivation to other veterans and try to let them know that they are not the only ones that go through everyday struggles that us veterans have, and just try to connect with them somehow. And also a way to tell everyone my life story on the things that I went through um, throughout my 22 years of service, and also what I go through with my everyday struggle as a disabled veteran. And later videos, I'll get into exactly what my disabilities are and how they happen. And with this introductory video, I would just like to explain basically my history. Just start off as an introduction, and hopefully in the future I'll explain more, and then you get to know me as we take this journey on YouTube together. All right, a little bit about myself. 47 years old, about to turn 48 in a few days, and joined the Army straight out of high school. Now, coming out of high school, I had different choices. I was gifted in music, which I played trombone, and had my choice to go to any HBCU, historical black college, for music. But the only thing about that was if I majored in music, it was a full scholarship. But if I did not major in music, then it was a partial scholarship. I did not know what type of major I wanted to do at the time, so I didn't want to gain any debt with college, so I passed on that offer. And also I played baseball and was scouted by the Florida Marlins. And anyone know about the Florida Marlins at that time, I think they was established about 92 or 93, if I'm correct, somewhere in that area. And they had mass recruiting to help fill up their farm teams and fill out their organization. So I got invited to a tryout camp. Wasn't drafted anything, it was just a tryout camp. And after asking the recruiter just different questions on what are the benefits or pension plan, or say if I get hurt, what will I have to fall back on after baseball? And that baseball recruiter could not answer any kind of questions. And basically, if you get hurt or you wash out, then you're back on the streets with nothing to fall back on, no kind of trade or nothing. Then you start over from scratch. So I talked to the Army, and their recruiter explained benefits, pension plan, medical insurance, and vocational skills, everything that I wanted to hear, which I think would have set me up best for my future. So, 96, I signed and went to Fort Leonard Wood for basic training. And then my first MOS was 62 Bravo at the time, which was construction equipment mechanic, which that school was at. MOS school was also at Fort Leonard Wood at the time. So after I graduated from 62 Bravo MOS school, my first duty station was at Fort Bliss, Texas, in 699th Maintenance Company, 70th Ordnance Battalion, 11th or Air Defense Artillery Brigade. I will say that was one of the best units throughout my military career. That's one of the most memorable and probably my best unit I had been in, I would say. Just leadership and everything from top to bottom was amazing in that unit. So the leadership ended up deciding to disband the 70th Ordnance Battalion. So they upped and moved my whole company, 699th Maintenance Company, to Fort Irving, California. And when I say that this was a short up and move, where basically they gave us 2 weeks And the unit was going to be fully moved to Fort Irwin, California, an up and running shop, maintenance shop. So it was a quick rail load and moving everyone in the company, all the personnel to Fort Irwin. So from there, got to Fort Irwin, 98, and came up on re-enlistment in 99. I was so sick of Fort Irwin and I was sort of homesick, so I decided to come back to Missouri, and I switched over to the Missouri Army National Guard. So 20 in the 99, ended up joining an engineer company, 203rd Engineer. Had a battalion, had a detachment here in St. Louis, so I ended up joining 203rd, and then when the Operation Noble Eagle and everything started to heat up in the Middle East, then I ended up getting deployed to Iraq in 2003 with 203rd. And with 203rd, basically we ran missions every day, nonstop, and I don't think anyone broke the record that I know of, because normally a deployment, usually about 9 months to 12 months. Deployment is the length. But we spent 15 months in country. So after 15 months in country, running missions nonstop, then came back home from deployment. And 203rd decided to up and move the detachment out of St. Louis. So I had to switch MOSs. So basically, there was a company, 1221st Transportation Unit, which was from St. Louis. And we were probably the first two units, or some of the first two units in Missouri that actually got back from Iraq around the same time. So I decided to switch MOSs to 88 Mike Transportation and join the 1221st. And the reason I joined that company, because I knew that since they had just got back from Iraq the same time we did, then I would have less of a chance of getting a surprise and turn around and go back on another deployment back to Iraq and Afghanistan. So from there, I spent the last 10 years, I would say, in my career, or I'm sorry, the last 12, as a 88 Mike transportation truck driver. And spent my time in the line units, and in 2015, I would say, I came up on an option for an interview at the 140th RTI Regional Training Institute down at Fort Leonard Wood. And I applied for a position as a transportation instructor at the unit, which I ended up getting that after numerous interviews. And at this time, I was an E6. And basically with this unit, this is probably about the second best unit I ever been in, because it was an amazing unit, because you could not be below an E6 in this unit. We had E5s, but normally the E5s was up for promotion to E6, but mainly it's E6s and above in this unit. And at the 140th Regional Training Institute, we had different sections, such as the section I was in for transportation instructors. We also had a school for MPs, engineers, one officer school, and also OCS, for officer candidate course. But I mainly stuck to the side with transportation. And at around 2018, or let me rewind a little bit, I'll say 2017, we got news that they were taking away the 88 Mike section of the school and transferring the funding and everything to another state, to their regional training institute. So we were losing the 88 Mike slots. I then had the choice to basically go to a line unit, or looking at retiring if I did not want to go back to a line unit. So I told my lieutenant colonel at the time, my battalion commander, Lieutenant Colonel Ford, give me about 2 months for me to decide, and I'm going to actually go and recon different line units just to get a feel for if that's one I want to go back to, is leading troops, and spent about a month looking at different units. And I went back to Lieutenant Colonel Ford and be like, I think that my military career is coming to an end. I do not want to go back and lead troops because I was just burned out at the time with the military, and I was at retirement anyway. So I asked, without me having the MOS here, how long can I be in limbo until I exit out the door? And he said you could hang around for 1 year and you assist with any schools that need help, and then after that, then you can retire and walk out the door after that. So I took that option. After that year, I ended up retiring on November 1st of 2018 was my retirement ceremony, my official retirement date, and decided to exit out of the military at that point. And just going to end it right there. Like I say, I just want to have this as a quick introduction. Next video, I would like to explain, probably get into the leadership schools I've been to and the military education that I had. And then from there, next video after that, we'll get into the type of disabilities that I have and what I did to get them service connected, and also get to the 100% compensation mark with VA, and give a little information on that process, and because it's a long process. So yeah, I want to end it right there. And also, if you do like this video, then hit the thumbs up below, and also subscribe, so that way in the future when I do drop more videos, then you get the alert to know that I dropped them. And hopefully we'll talk in the future, and you watch more videos in the future, and you get to know more about me. All right, thanks for your time. NCO Whiz out.